Nature had blessed India with bounty, and history had brought many rulers attracted by its prosperity. When the British left in 1947, we finally found freedom after 2 centuries of colonization. But the happiness of freedom was shadowed by the sadness of partition. It divided the nation and truncated the wheat bowl of the Punjab and the rice bowl of Bengal. For India, the primary problem was the shortage of food for a dangerously growing nation of starving millions. Our population had grown out of proportion to our food grain production during the first half of the 20th century. The battle to make India self-sufficient in food began with the first 5-year plan, which laid emphasis on irrigation systems, fertilizer manufacture, mechanized farming, and land reclamation. It achieved limited success, but the threat of food shortage continued to be acute till the end of the 1950s. The new high-yielding variety of crops provided the answer that India was looking for. Initial success with new grains, like Mexican dwarf wheat, proved that India could dramatically increase its productivity. In India's agro-science laboratories, there was tremendous enthusiasm as they pushed forward towards what was to be known as the Green Revolution. Wheat was the spearhead of the Green Revolution. New seeds, scientific irrigation, improved practices combined to show excellent results. Transferred from lab to field, science ushered in the first phase of the Green Revolution. In the second phase, the Green Revolution showed phenomenal results. Paddy cultivation improved radically with inspiration from Japanese experiments. Looking out into the world, more support came from the International Rice Research Institute in Manila. Like wheat, high-yielding varieties have really spearheaded the Green Revolution in paddy as well. And in paddy, India has achieved the status of one of the world's largest growers. High-yielding varieties have made a big difference to productivity in Indian paddy growing, just as it has in wheat. The third phase of the Green Revolution targets less developed food grains, like maize and millet, sometimes on soil not yet under the plough. This campaign will once again test the mettle of our green revolutionaries. The Green Revolution discovered new leaders, like the agricultural scientist Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, Director General of the Indian Council of Agricultural Research during the 1960s. He envisaged, designed, and executed the Green Revolution, one of the greatest scientific developments that has shaped India today. We went in search of greater revelations from this living legend with Dr. J. Sthanapathy, Director, National Council of Science Museums.
For a layman, what does Green Revolution mean? Why is it considered as a turning point in the Indian agricultural history?
The Green Revolution was a term coined in 1968 when our country achieved a big quantum jump in wheat production from about 10 to 12 million tons to 17 million tons. The then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi released a special stamp to commemorate this great achievement of our farmers and scientists and called it the Wheat Revolution. Later, the Rice Revolution also came. Green is the color of chlorophyll, green plant. In fact, we all live on this earth as guests of the green plant. They only make the energy from harvesting sunlight and taking nutrients and water from the soil. So the Green Revolution, a revolution means not an evolutionary change, it's a big change. That's why we call it revolution. It started with wheat, it went to rice, then it went to potato, it went to maize, it went to sorghum, many other crops in our country. And this is why we call it a turning point in our agricultural destiny, largely because before that most authors, even 1966, 67, 68, people said Indians will all starve to death, Indian farmers are fatalistic, they will never be able to produce more. There was a book called Famine 1975 which they said Indians will go to death like sheep going to slaughterhouse out of hunger. So many of these prophets of doom were belied, and that is why we say 1968 marked a significant turning point in our agricultural history, because from a begging bowl to a bread basket, this transition started in that year. So it was a big change in our history, agricultural history.
The Green Revolution has scored important victories with other agricultural produce. Our success with a wide variety of oil seeds has contributed towards the enrichment of our nutrition. It has also introduced new oil seeds to Indian agriculture, which has successfully accepted international options. The production of a gamut of pulses has also seen staggering success, making a big difference to our nutrition and to our agricultural economy. Vegetables have a ready domestic market, along with fruits, which in fact has an attractive overseas market, including fruit-based processed foods. Flowers have even created worldwide markets. Modern techniques of plantation management have ushered in more profitable and productive means to grow commercially valuable crops like coconut, coffee, spices, cashew nut, and many other varieties. Both oyster and button varieties of mushrooms are also being grown for the table. The path of the Green Revolution has fueled energetic efforts beyond the fields in rural activities like livestock and poultry rearing and aquaculture. Experiments in improved breeding methods have produced dramatic results. In the wake of the green has come the white revolution, making India the world's largest milk producer. Cash crops have developed significantly in the post-Green Revolution era, increasing the income for our farmers. Other ancillary agro-industries have grown side by side and opened new avenues of enterprise and skill.
In the 1970s and 80s, the average agricultural rate of growth was over 3%. It was much above the rate of growth in population. Unfortunately, from the 90s, we have had a deceleration in the growth rate. It has come down to 1.5%, although now again it is slightly going up. This has been called as the fatigue of the Green Revolution. In other words, there's a tapering of the effect of the Green Revolution. Why is it so? There are many reasons in different parts of the country. Largely they are related to environmental causes like salinization, over-irrigation, excessive use of pesticides, and a wide variety of causes, including remunerative pricing, marketing arrangements, a wide range of either marketing factors or management factors or other kinds of environmental factors have been responsible.
The need to protect crops became as important as producing more. Designing and implementing crop protection systems went hand in hand with new warehousing facilities and modern distribution systems. The face of Indian agriculture has certainly changed. Dependence on rainfall is no longer paramount because irrigation systems are firmly in place. Watershed management systems have also proved their efficacy. Rainwater harvesting is far more organized. The vagaries of the weather can no longer spell disaster to the Indian farmer. Power has been a major thrust area for rural electrification in an India that still lives in its villages. The success of a society here can only be measured by success in agriculture, for which electricity is a major priority today. Rural India has now discovered new infrastructure and opportunities. The life of the Indian farmer has changed significantly in one generation. Agricultural prosperity has brought about investment. Roads have brought vehicles. Connectivity has created communication. Information has new highways to travel along. Education has widened its base. The transformation is most visible among rural women, who look forward now to new horizons. Yet, 50 million people die of hunger every year. We share the history of this experience, but we have changed the course of our destiny and increased our productivity 5 times over. Today, India is a major exporter of agro-produce all over the world. However, our battle does not end here, and we have definitely not solved the food problem for good. The population is increasing, so is the demand for food. By 2020, the demand for food crops will increase by 55%, for fruits by 142%, for milk by 28%, for meat by 57%, and for fish by 24% compared to 1995.
When it is said that we have been experiencing fatigue of the Green Revolution, will it be possible for our country to achieve evergreen revolution?
This is why many years ago I coined the term evergreen revolution. What we need India, a population-rich, but land-hungry country like ours needs an evergreen revolution. That means improvement of productivity in perpetuity without associated ecological harm. Because the only pathway available to us for improving production is productivity improvement, yield per hectare, because we don't have any more area. Already area is going out of agriculture for non-farm uses like roads, housing and so on. Therefore, we have no option except to produce more and more from less and less land and less water. Also, the smaller the farm, the greater is the need for marketable surplus so that I can have a cash income. If I produce only 1 ton, I will not be able to market much. If I produce 5 tons from the same land, I have about 4 tons to market. This is the reason why our country has to have an evergreen revolution which can improve productivity in perpetuity. This means combining the principles of high yield technology with ecological principles, management of water, management of soil health. Eco-agriculture is more knowledge intensive. It is not chemical intensive, it is not capital intensive, it is more knowledge intensive. It's a highly location specific technology. And I would say now we are on the threshold of this new evergreen revolution which can help us to improve yield per hectare all over the country, in the hill areas, in the dry farming areas, in the irrigated areas, in the coastal areas, in our islands like Lakshadweep and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Every part of the country we must try to improve productivity, because ours is a land of small farms. There are 110 million farming families cultivating. Their livelihood depends entirely on farming, crop husbandry, animal husbandry, fisheries and forestry. The other important feature of evergreen revolution is entire farming system, not a single crop, not like wheat alone. Wheat rice in the Punjab has exhausted the water, caused salinization. What is now important is to grow barsim, or a legume like a pulse crop, which will then fix biological nitrogen fixation in the soil. So we must go into cropping system, crop and livestock, because livestock and livelihoods are very important in our country for the poor. Livestock are very important. Therefore, we need fodder and feed. So we are entering a new era in our agriculture, which we can term, we hope, an evergreen revolution. That is, we will take up ecologically sound methods of production.
It calls for an unprecedented growth in the agriculture sector. To meet the challenge, we have now to make an all-out effort to bridge the knowledge and technology gap and to rationalize economic and trade policies. Perhaps we need a second and a bigger green revolution.